Hey fam!
Let's be
3D.
Hey fam, it's us,
Yes.
the family Sowell, or most of it anyway. On episode 12, we're on part 6
yes.
of
Something like
a
that,
universal
yeah.
language, talking
Yes.
about our mission trips. Today's subject is 2017 Kids Camp.
Yes.
Ooh.
And we're going to get really real today
Oh,
because it was
it's
tough.
time to get real.
But it's going to be good.
Wheel.
Oh, yeah. So
Really?
before we get started,
Wheel.
let's do a roll
Really
call.
wheel.
I'm Jacob, the eldest. I play the banjo if you've ever seen any of our YouTube videos or come and seen us in concert. And it's going to be a good day.
Yes, it is. And hold down the opposite end of the table if you're watching us visually. Ciao. It is Joshua Sowell here, and it is a gorgeous day here in Knoxville, Tennessee.
It is
in
that.
East
It is.
Tennessee.
The sun was shining.
So
It is. I ate my breakfast outside. It's
really,
nice.
that was
Really?
nice.
Very calming.
That's
I like
nice.
doing
Awesome.
that. We should
So
do that more often. It's a
Hi.
good experience to have.
yeah, how you doing?
I'm Abby over here. If you can see me. If you can't. Anyway, I'm Abby. I sing and I play
You do.
mandolin. And yeah, that's what I do.
She
I'm glad
sings
to
and
be
plays
here.
mandolin and cooks. That's
I
about
do
it.
cook.
She is a chef.
If I'm not singing or playing mandolin,
She is cooking
not all the time. Yeah, but it's a good goal to have.
and sleeping.
Also that.
Funny.
Oh,
Anyway.
my goodness.
And last but not least,
Nene.
Hey,
Right
She's
now,
back.
she's just patting her
Heyo.
eyes. And
I'm
we
having
got
hair
her-
problems.
she's got an invisible
having
hair.
hair problems.
Oh, I found it. It's just
There was another one.
The feeling is still
The
your
there.
feeling.
nerves still.
Maybe you just like moved it over.
No, I found it. I used tweezers.
Oh.
Nice.
Mm.
But the
Anyway.
feeling is still
Yeah,
The
worst-
and I'm yawning.
The worst is when you have makeup and you're trying not to mess everything
Yes.
up. And
Right.
It's very
anyway,
Anyway,
nice.
girl
I'm
problems.
Naomi.
Right. Not like we would ever know what that is
Uh-huh.
like.
I think we've had makeup on 3 times.
Something
like
That's
that.
guy makeup.
Probably.
It's different.
Yes.
That's stage
Yeah,
makeup.
but
Stage
it still
makeup.
felt weird.
Yeah. It
What
was
is
Yeah.
this
really
on
weird.
me? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So,
Nay.
I'm
Yeah.
Naomi.
Yep.
Hi.
That's about
Hey.
it. All right. So we are talking about, like Jacob said, Kids Camp 2017, which was definitely the adventure
Mm.
of the mission trip. I mean, we had some, you know, I don't know what's the word to describe it, but we,
We
all the
learned
camps,
a lot.
most of the camps
Yeah.
that year, had their own little
Quirks.
adventures and quirks and all that kind of stuff. But Kids Camp 2017 definitely at Mrčajevci definitely takes the cake.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
definitely a huge test, but like the week before, we had this big mountaintop experience with
Right.
the teens,
Yeah.
connecting with the teens right off, instilling like a way to keep up with them
Mm.
throughout the year with the text group, and just really seeing God working. Not that we hadn't seen him in the previous years, but that just like the next level of
Right.
his work. Anyway,
Yeah.
and then you get to kids camp and spiritual attack
Yeah.
101.
Yeah.
definitely. It's
Definitely.
definitely adventures. So just kind of going around the table here, sharing some memories and different stuff. Let's start with Naomi. 'Cause
Ladies
she has a
first.
special memory.
I do.
Yeah, I guess
You were talking
when I
about
say
it earlier.
special, I just said that because
not
it
very
was unique.
special. Anyway.
Unique. It was unique.
It's one I
Maybe.
never forgot. Anyway,
Mm.
again, we're going to do our best not to name names here.
Yes.
Because we have nothing against the people we had issues with
I got you issue.
back then.
Is that
Back
a song?
then,
boy.
we
Yes,
have.
that's a
It's
song.
different when you're in the moment and just experiencing that conflict and stuff, especially when it's with fellow believers.
Yeah.
Again, we always, what we say a lot in our family is the Lord knows who are his. If you profess
Yes.
to be a Christian, or you're not, we're going to treat you the same way. But anyway, but when you're with other people who are professing to be Christians, you have a standard. And so
Right.
working around that with everyone having the same belief system and stuff like that, it can get interesting, especially when you're in ministry together. So we're going to be upfront that this wasn't easy. We're not saying we were right and they were wrong. We didn't handle everything right at that time. We have a different perspective now.
Yeah.
4 years later,
sure.
4 years later. So we're going to do our best to present what we experienced and the lessons we learned. And because I really like this saying, there's 3 sides to a story: your side, their side, and the truth. So that's kind of the situation here, is because there was so much going on that we didn't know about, or all of us didn't know about at the same time. And we got more information later and stuff like that. So again, we're not bashing anyone here. We are just sharing our experience and lessons we learned, because all of that kind of made us who we are now. You know, parts of our personality and lessons we learned and how we handle situations all were polished and honed during this season. So like we've mentioned, after teen camp, just a spiritual high. It was the best camp in history of Mrčajevci. Just everyone was, the teachers, the camp directors, everyone was like, this never happens. And Joshua mentioned right at the end of the last episode that there was a group of teen girls that were volunteering at kids camp, and they were so excited to spend 2 whole weeks with us. And then the very last day, right when they were, before all the other campers left, they were told there wasn't enough room at camp and they would have to leave with the other campers. So they had no time to process. It was just a really emotionally hard day because everyone was leaving and they didn't think they would have to. They were looking for more time with us. So that was a really, really hard day. And the next day is when we started preparing for kids camp, and we're bearing down, cleaning up camp, doing chores and stuff. And we've mentioned in other podcasts, we would just do whatever needed to be done. You know, someone's like, hey, can you clean cabins? We'd go clean cabins. Or if we saw something that needed to be done, sometimes we wouldn't even ask. We'd just do it because it needed to be done.
If we saw someone who needed help with the task.
And we were there helping them prepare for the next camp and stuff like that. And it was going to be a full house of kids. Again, that's the reason those teen girls couldn't stay.
Well, there were other reasons as well, but yeah.
Well, just remember that we also had the concert on Saturday that we mentioned in the last podcast.
Well, where was that?
Right.
So we were on short night of sleep. Well, short nights of sleep are typical on a mission trip for us. Anyway, so we're running low on physical energy, and we're feeling even more fatigued from the spiritual and emotional and mental side. So just a lot of factors. And so we were spending the day helping prepare for the kids coming in that night. And I don't even remember what Abby and I were doing, but there was a lady again, we're not going to mention names, but this was her 3rd year? Second year serving at Mrčajevci with us. She served at other camps, not just the music camps, but this was our 2nd year working with her. She was from Texas as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. And she was doing volunteer stuff as well. Kind of, we're not exactly sure everything that she was supposed to do because she came and went and stuff like that. Anyway, but Abby and I did something. I don't remember if we were washing dishes or cleaning bathrooms that she wanted to do.
Right.
But she hadn't told anyone that she was going to do it, and Abby and I saw that it needed to be done, so we just went and did it. So she got upset. And again, not bashing anyone, just don't be this person, please. Abby and I are 17, so we're still young, and just how we were raised, you see something needed to be done, you go do it. And so she went to the new camp. Well, they were kind of working him in as a new camp director,
right.
Dr. Sokra, who we were with at Mrčajevci and stuff. She went to him, complained, got upset and stuff. And he had a lot on his plate, and I'll let everyone else share their debate. There was just a lot going on, and he was the new guy. So he approached Mom. He did not talk to Abby and I. He approached Mom. And of course, Mama Bear comes out. She went and talked to us, and we started crying because we were just so emotionally exhausted. We were missing our friends, and we were looking at a long week ahead with kids, and we didn't mean to hurt anybody, and we were just feeling the tension between the miscommunication and everything that was going on with other teams and stuff. And so Mama, wise woman that she is, she sent us to the cabin, and we got on our phones, texted our friends for about an hour, just kind of chilled, calmed down, just stopped and took a breath. And that's a lesson that we've had to learn is, and I'm still learning this, my personality doesn't like sitting and doing nothing, but we needed that breath to step back, just be by ourselves, because we were never by ourselves, really. Even family time, there wasn't a lot of it like we were used to.
8 of us stayed in one cabin.
Yes.
With, was there like
one bathroom?
4 bunk beds.
Yeah.
There was 4 bunk beds.
That was
1 bathroom.
Yeah.
That was our getaway spot. You're in the same
and
room.
Even then, there was not a lot of me time. So Abby and I
Yeah.
needed that break. And so Mom gave us that. And then we went and talked to Darko, apologized, like, this was miscommunication. We didn't mean to hurt anybody. We were just helping and stuff like that. And he handled it pretty well. Again, the new guy, we didn't know him that well. This was our first year working at him with camp.
Yes.
We'd only, done concerts with him. So this was our first time with him with an extended period of time and stuff. So that, it got worked out. But after that, it was never the same for me personally, because there was always that catch now. I couldn't just go and do something because I wanted to serve somebody. There was always is someone going to get mad at me because I'm serving them and they wanted to do it, or this person was supposed to do it, or whatever.
Serving became complicated.
It became very
what
complicated.
we could or could not do.
And that extended into 2018, which I
Exactly.
know we'll get there,
Yes.
but that it first started the undercurrent of us, on the one hand, us being the kids being taught, and by kids I mean us, so the siblings, us being raised to see something that needs to be done and doing it, and Dad just naturally being that way.
Right.
Yeah.
That's who Dad is.
Yeah.
And Mom being all in, teaching and building relationships with the kids and trying to be a mom to the rest of, to them too, or being that mother figure.
Yeah.
So after this incident, we kind of started second guessing.
It started
ourselves
feeling
and
like
second
we
guessing.
were
What
there.
are we?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What
I
are we
felt
supposed
put
to be
in
doing?
a box.
Yeah.
That's kind of because years before, our services, so to speak, were welcome. They needed the help. And then it felt like they were starting to structure.
Yeah.
They wanted to put more, Serbian volunteers. There was another American team. More American teams were starting to get interested in serving at Mrčajevci and stuff. So they started more and more to you're just in music, only do the music part. And while that's great and it works, it was just an adjustment. And again, no communication.
Yeah.
And also watching the miscommunications between the other people. Miscommunication was really the major theme issue at kids camp between Darko Srnka and us. I mean, just that one little incident.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I felt that we really tried to understand each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And
Okay.
then just watching him interact with the other kind of head people at the camp, like Carl Bannert and Darko Adamek, and watching them struggle. And then the other team that was there. There was another team that was there, the World Race team,
Yes.
which the World Race is really cool concept. It's a group of these young people. I'm sorry. I'm just really quick. A group of these young people that go around the world for 11 months and share and serve in different countries across the world.
Right.
It's really cool. And the World Race team that was there themselves, great people, but just not a whole lot of communication.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Abby. I think I interrupted you.
I just wanted to comment on what y'all were saying about putting us in a box, things changing with little communication, and like after the fact communication. Like we were told, don't do that. And then it's like, oh, this is the reason. Like, and I think the whole concept that we as a family try to live out is begin as you mean to go.
Exactly.
And that was our heart, is like, okay, if you wanted us to just come here and teach music, one, there are tons of people that are more qualified than us. We came to build relationships. We came to serve. And that was our understanding when we started in 2013. And we thought that that was their understanding of why we came. Yeah, we were using music. Yeah, we were having fun with the kids, teaching them music and stuff like that. But music was not our end goal. It wasn't to teach Serbia how to play the ukulele. No, it was to use music as a way to introduce Christ, or to nurture beginning relationships, beginning spiritual journeys.
Right.
And I think that's what kind of hurt, was that now we were relegated to music teachers. And we were always, it's not their frustration. And I mean, it's understandable. They wanted their young people or those serving at the camp to step up and do their work. And they felt like they depend upon us to step in and fill in for them and cover them if they messed up on something, forgot something or whatever. You know, I get that.
Yeah. That's understandable.
I wish, looking back now, I wish we could have still worked alongside them, that they could have required their people to work, but still allow us to work alongside their people.
Maybe we could have helped them keep their people accountable.
Exactly. And so a lot of the memories I have of kids camp were one with my group. This was the first time I had a beginner group at kids camp in a while. I mean, like the past 2 years, I had worked with I had worked with Mom, and then I had worked with Jacob. And so this one was, I had all the beginner girls. Joe Mark had all the beginner boys. And did anyone else want to comment on our other?
Go for
so
it.
I can go ahead.
Go for it.
Didn't we have a lot of beginners? Is that why they split them up that way?
We had a good bit of beginners, but I think it was also less distraction too. When you have that many kids and they're all beginners, it's just easier to split them up from girls and boys. And
Exactly.
I
thought I remembered that, but okay.
So,
Pray continue.
it was my first time again, and I got stuck with the new guy, the new translator.
Oh yeah.
And we have, again, I'm going to say this, we have a great relationship with him now. Not that but we've worked everything out.
It was
but there
a rough
was
start.
It was a rough start.
Yeah.
With him. Just, he's much more of a take charge type person, and I am not a take charge person outside of my family. Trust me, my family knows I can take charge if I need to. But outside of my family, I'm much more of timid when it comes to teaching.
Right.
And so when I would be hesitant, it's like he would step in and like take over my class type thing. And I was like, whoa. He was also a musician, by the way. So he had his background in music. And me, non-confrontational, I would just be like, I don't like this, but I didn't say anything to him. But I did bring it to Mom. And I was like, we're not working well together. And I actually prefer having a girl translator. Just me. It's nice to have that connection.
Yeah.
Especially when you're working with girls, obviously. But
Yeah. That makes sense.
so actually I think Issy became my translator.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do remember that. Issy
She
took
did.
over for
I remember that now. So day 2 or 3, we switched translators. And we had Mom and I think it was Darko Srnka. talked to this guy, and it was a little rough, and we were like, okay, we aren't sure how this working relationship is gonna go, for if we'll ever would prefer to work with him again, because we did have our preferences on who we worked best with, and we would tell them. But he was the next year,
Yeah.
2018.
mixing up my words, 2018, he was at teen camp, right?
Yes.
Who's it, Bo?
Was
no,
he at
he was no,
no,
he
just
was only
at teen
teen.
camp.
Okay.
And we worked really well with him that
yes.
year. You could just tell he had a lot more humility coming in. This was his first time at camp. And so, sometimes you have to have experiences that make you a little more humble. So that was one experience I had that I had to learn and work through. But after having Issy as a translator, she and I are both very similar in just being quiet, but she would let me take charge and encourage me in that. And we had a great class. The girls it was really awesome to work with them. I actually keep up with a few of them.
Yes.
Off and on. And a lot of memories with the World Race team.
Yes.
There was one lady that I really connected with, Candy.
Yes, the
Miss
darkest
Candy?
skin.
Yes.
Is that the darker skin?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
Miss
yeah.
Candy.
She was very sweet. And again, like Jake was saying, they're from the States.
Yes.
They go on this mission trip.
world tour of service
Yes, of
and
service.
missions. They were on their 5th or 6th month
Yes.
of service,
Yeah.
and they had just come from Africa. Or
I think
I forget how that
some of them
works.
came from Africa, some of them came from like Southeast Asia,
Right.
like
because they split them up,
Cambodia or
isn't,
something
don't
like
they?
that,
Don't they have like 2 or 3 different teams,
Yeah,
and then they
That
switch around
rotate
groups and
and
rotate
stuff.
groups and stuff? It's really
Yeah.
cool. If you want to check that out, if that's your thing.
All they had to pack their stuff in was a backpack.
Yeah, I mean they did what we did in Serbia for like 3-4 weeks. They do that for 11 months.
Right.
I mean
Yes.
it's total immersion in each culture that they work with.
It was
Exactly.
and they
really
spend a week or two in
Yeah,
each place.
I think
maybe
it
3.
depends on where they are.
Yeah.
I'm
What-
not exactly
what's needed.
Sure. Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah.
well,
really cool.
They had some really cool stories. Really,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
wow, stories
Right.
about just the environments they lived in and
Right.
served in. And so she was I don't know where she was from, but I remember talking to her a lot, and I remember just being even though that camp was hard, combined with the camp before and just that whole trip, I was very inspired, motivated to serve and
yeah.
to be able to serve young people and
Yeah.
serve in Serbia. And it's weird how a few years having passed, it's crazy to say a few years.
I know, right?
No.
I don't feel 21. A few years having passed, and my heart for service hasn't changed. I mean, there's always the struggles of the music industry and wanting to get caught up in it. And I've definitely had a few rough patches where my mindset was more results driven, more career driven. But
Right.
it always comes back to no, that's not worth it in the long haul. It's not
Exactly.
something you can control. And so it's just weird that the people I'm serving has changed, but how God is still using seeds planted in those years to be like, okay, I want to influence people now.
Right.
And so being content and willing that my field of service has changed and that's okay.
Right.
Because it's hard, because I would want to be back there. You felt like you were doing more in another country serving kids, and where you had to have a translator type
Right.
thing, but you're still doing as much here.
Yeah. There are days when I don't know if wish is the right word, but want to be back.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
But I realize now that I don't know.
Right.
It doesn't feel like we'd be able to have the same impact that we
Right.
did then.
I read this dear friend, Billy Watson, Chaplain Billy Watson. He's a what kind of-
Retired. He's retired Navy, I believe.
Navy chaplain.
Yeah.
I forgot which branch he was under.
I believe it's
But
Navy. Retired
he
Navy.
posted something yesterday about. I'm gonna read it. Yes, I have my phone here. The evangelist Vance Havner used to say, "God writes over some of our days. We'll explain later." Isn't that
Huh.
cool?
That is
I
great.
love that. I'm like, I needed that. I screenshotted it.
There you go.
Hey, that's
but
awesome.
looking back over the years, looking back to where we are now, the move to Knoxville changed so much. 2017 and 2018 in Serbia changed so much.
Right.
And, I'm a different person, but I'm not,
Oh, yeah.
Lots about me have changed, but I hope the core things haven't,
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
right.
the core
I get
things
that.
never change. It's always, how it looks.
Yeah.
If that makes sense,
But I think the peace is knowing that God will help us. And maybe he won't, but he'll give us that peace that he was with us there, he's with us now. I believe if he wanted us over there, we would be over there. He would have
Agreed.
Yeah.
provided the way. And we'll tell y'all more about that later.
yes.
Anyway, I have a couple more memories maybe, but let's pass it
Yeah,
on
me
to
too.
Well-
But let's let
Yeah.
another person.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I
Josh,
was
what you
gonna
got, bud?
Yeah.
Heart to
well,
heart here.
for me, again, kids camp did have its hard points, but I think it was a lot easier because of the people I shared those hard times with, like my
Yeah.
family. I mean, being able to be there because mom was, in the thick of it, so to speak. And she really, it was great to be able to come alongside her and share in that struggle. And then with all of us as well. I mean, we all had our different struggles. And also, shout out again to my friend Yaakov, who was Naomi's and my translator for our intermediate group, which was a good group. They did
Yeah.
really well. There was a couple troublemakers, but just having him there, and he was struggling with the same things, just watching the stuff going on at camp. I mean, and so it was good to just kind of share and be there for each other, and but I do have to say that probably the one who had it probably the toughest consistently was John Mark
Yeah.
Yeah.
at
Yes.
the
Agreed.
kids camp. He had of course, he and Donnie were heading up the beginner group
boys.
of the boys.
Beginner
Boys.
And there was
beginner group.
a couple of those little boys were just, I mean,
Just
you
a
just wanted
joy,
to wring their
y'all.
necks, It's like, what is it in Alvin and the Chipmunks? It's like you want to just put them in a box and leave them in the park. I know that sounds really
And
bad,
run
but
away.
And you feel
but
like
you know what I'm
the
saying.
lady like,
Yeah.
But you know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? You just, I just love you, you little, no, but it was definitely a trial for John Mark. I mean, because it was also his first time heading up,
A kids'
that
camp.
young of a group.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so he really
oh,
grew through that
I
time.
forgot
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
yeah. So, but in the end, I think, he was able to, develop some relationships with those boys, and some of those boys came back the next year to kids camp, and so that relationship, that foundation was already built, and so it was good to see that blossom even through all the, like I said, the struggles and everything. And the other thing, I mean, again, I'm going to try to keep this sort of as real as possible, but not too real, because there is a point where it gets too real. That's too much information. But having because of the World Race Team and also other stuff, again, no offense to them, it's just, again, a lot of miscommunication, but that was the reason why those teen girls that were going to volunteer were turned away, because there was no spots. I mean, we were practically full. So they were
intense.
Right.
A couple of them were intense.
Right. So the only volunteers they had was Nevena and Issy.
Yes. Yeah.
That was it. So they were doing tons of work and different stuff, and they want us to not help. You're just like, come on.
It took a few days for them to kind of
realize,
get things under control.
Right.
Well,
because Darko, it's okay. Because Darko Crnka, Darko Adamek wasn't there. So it was...
yes, he was.
He was?
He was.
He was the teacher?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a lot of it because I was mostly trying to... Okay. How I handle an issue, if I'm not directly involved, is I will stay out of the way.
Right.
So all I know is that Darko Crnka had, in his mind, he wanted the road race team to do this. And then Carl Bannert had in his mind that, no, they were supposed to do this. So that constant miscommunication,
right?
Again, because they were changing the order of camp, they were in a transition process, and so there was a lot of miscommunication. And so poor Issy and Nevena were basically doing all the work that the World Race Team wasn't doing, where usually you had 4 or 5 volunteers to help with that. So all the kitchen, all the cleaning and stuff. And so the first few days, us as a family couldn't help because Darko Crnka wanted the World Race Team to do that. Well, the World Race Team couldn't do that because they were helping Carl with other stuff, and Darko didn't know that. And then at the end of the day, he's like, why didn't this get done? It was just a big mess. So finally, this is where a couple of my memories come in, but I'll share them after Jacob because he hasn't shared one yet. But after a few days, they kind of came to an agreement, and we were able to help them out.
I remember going to Darko Crnka and asking, because we saw Issy and Nevena working their tails off, and we went to Mom and was like, I'm like, they're doing kid games, and we're not a part of. They had kid activities, so like they had a swimming pool, so we're not gonna go.
No.
Well, we didn't bring swimsuits. No, we didn't swim a lot.
We never did do the whole.
So
swimming.
anyway, but they would have the kids doing different activities, so we weren't needed for those activities.
Yeah,
and we were like, we're not doing anything,
and we didn't want to cause another situation like what happened with the other ladies. So
Mom was like, "Go ask Darko Crnka."
So we did.
If we submit that's the least we can do is show that we're honoring this. It's not our favorite, but we're honoring it, and that was what we tried. Again, we didn't handle everything perfectly, but what we tried to bring was just honor to what they want us to do, and you can't change it. It's not what we like. But, and he was willing for us to help out. So it was very satisfying.
It was.
Yes.
Help ease their burden and stuff.
Yes. Now, the kids themselves were having tons of fun. I mean, we had the few troublemakers here and there, but overall, the kids were, they had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But you could tell that they could feel the tension between everybody.
Yeah.
And that showed up with some of the more active ones of them acting out and stuff like that. Kids will do that. What they see in the leadership above them, they will tend to act out. Anyway,
exactly.
I don't remember who was my translator that time.
That's a
can't
good
remember.
question. Lord, I don't remember.
I
I
might
don't
not have
remember
had
who
one.
was all there.
I might not have had one.
You
There's
had
been a couple.
Abigail because your advanced students knew more English.
Right.
I think you were
and
right. I don't think you
also,
had one.
I know
You
the
knew
most. I
enough
knew
Serbian,
the
they
most.
knew
I know the
enough
most Serbian out of
English.
my family, so
It
I
was
knew
Yeah.
Serbian,
Y'all
and
could
plus,
supplement.
listening to the translators translate the musical terms over the years, I'd picked up a little bit of knowledge
Didn't
of that.
you have Abigail?
Abigail was there to
Hepner?
Abigail was there.
I thought she was in your group.
Taya, Emma's little sister.
Oh, yeah.
She knew
yeah.
English
She knew
really
English
well.
very well.
Was she in
Jovan, the
I had
preacher's
him.
kid.
I had him that year.
Oh, okay. He was
Yeah.
in my.
You're
He was mine in
thinking-
2018.
You're thinking 2018. I think
But
Taya,
2018
Taya
was.
wasn't with you that year, I don't think.
She might not have been. She might have
think
been.
she was
might
with
not have been.
Anyway, suffice to say,
Anyway,
your
point is,
students knew
I didn't.
English.
I guess I didn't need one because I don't remember having one. But anyway, it was a good group. My
Oh,
kids
yeah.
were really good, and they learned
The kids were
fast
sweet.
as
They
usual.
are always sweet.
I'm always amazed at the speed at which they
Oh,
picked stuff
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Right.
Even the beginners, they worked through everything.
Yeah.
Through I mean,
If I think
Every once in
about
a while
it
there'd be a
now,
straggler, but-
yeah, you're teaching them a whole new. Most of them have not picked up an instrument
Right.
ever, especially when you're
well,
working
and to
with
make it
kids.
into my group, I think 2016 might have been the first year to do this, but the 2017, I remember sitting all the returning campers down. We may have done this in 2016 as well, but sitting all the returning campers down and listening to them play.
that was the first day.
That was
yeah.
the first day.
To
In fact, I
determine
think that was
who was in
Sunday
what.
night. I don't even.
No, I don't
Or did we do
Monday
that Monday?
morning?
I think
Because
Monday
we had
morning.
2 classes a day, so I think the first
Might have
class
been part
of
of Monday
the
morning.
first day.
Yeah,
Okay.
y'all probably did that while Joe Mark and I took the beginners.
Right.
Yeah.
The new campers for the first year, if this was the first time they'd ever shown up at a music camp, they were automatically put in the beginner group unless we knew that they had musical knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
But you had to be a returning camper to make it into my group, into
Yes.
the advanced group.
Exactly. And I think the other thing with your advanced group that year, the reason I wasn't working with you was you didn't have a lot.
I didn't. I maybe had half a dozen.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it was
You
5
might
or
have had
6,
less
maybe
than
7.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really needed with you. So I was needed elsewhere.
Right.
The beginners.
Anyway, so just the fun of teaching those kids that never
yeah.
never
Yeah.
went
No.
away.
Oh, for
I mean,
sure.
Yeah.
it was being the oldest and being a take charge kind of person, both inside and outside my family. It's just who I
It's who he is, y'all.
If I see a lack of leadership, I have to fight myself to not step in and provide that leadership
For sure.
because that can be taken as arrogant, even though I mean it in the purest intentions
Right.
possible.
Exactly.
I don't want to offend anyone. All right. Anyway, so that bothered me.
Yeah.
Right.
Was
Yes.
the lack of communication and leadership and just getting along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so, but I had my time with the kids.
Yes.
Right.
And I could,
That
I
made
could,
everything
I could,
better.
Exactly. I could go, spend, and not just the teaching, but also we'd go play soccer. Because
Yeah.
these kids adore
Oh yeah.
soccer.
Oh yeah.
And
They're
even
really
the
good,
little
too.
kids,
I'll never.
there were
forget.
some of the,
Yeah.
even the little boys
Yes.
are like could run circles around me and Joshua.
Yes.
Even
Yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
we were twice their height. It was
Exactly.
awesome.
It was fun.
But and honestly, that was one of the things. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
No,
getting
it's your
kind of
time.
long-winded, but that was one of the things that strengthened the initial impression that we made on those kids was our complete involvement,
Mm-hmm.
not
Right.
just the music teaching, but that we would go out there and play soccer with them.
Yes.
Even though
I
they
didn't,
beat us
though.
even though they beat us to pieces,
I
we'd
never
still get out there
ever
and
did that.
play
No.
with them.
Not a sports person, y'all.
And I think did they have the volleyball net this year? Was this
Yes.
the first year?
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
now I will play volleyball.
We did play.
That was
Abby and I would
actually-
play volleyball.
It was actually
and
the
Gaga
second
ball.
year.
Okay. And then the goggle. Anyway, so just having that time with the kids, playing with them, teaching them, it gave me a respite from the issues that I was watching going
For
on.
sure.
Putting it out on the field out there.
Just get out with the kids
Run
and
it
have
off.
fun and forget about everything. that's going on.
Exactly,
All
which
that.
is what I was saying because that's why I don't remember all the details. There was just that one incident that's really close to heart because
It involved you.
I am the kind of person that I love to serve, I love to help, but I detest, number one, wasting time. Number two, I cannot handle it if I feel like I let someone down. And I'm 21 years old and I will still have meltdowns in practice because I feel like I'm letting everyone down. They will tell you. I cannot handle that because I care about these people and I don't want... Anyway, it's still working on it at 21. But so that hit me. Like, I remember that because I'm like, I did not mean to cause an issue here. I'm just trying to
We're just here trying to
I feel
help.
like that
Andy.
issue went over my head. I don't remember.
I don't remember even what we were doing. I just
don't
remember
remember that at
there
all.
was afterwards the lady got upset or whatever. But
themselves in a tiffy.
after
What'd you say?
I said got themselves in a tiffy.
after that kind of was taken care of, and again, I was with Joshua and Yaakov, which us three make a great team, by the way. I did the hand signals. I had the easy part. Anyway, and just working with the kids and stuff. And then when we were allowed to help Issy and Nevena, anytime I wasn't with the kids, I was with them, helping them peel onions, which was hilarious because everyone would cry except me peeling onions. Don't know how that happened. I cleaned bathrooms, which this is funny. This is my funny memory. But I see your hand. Can I finish?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I've just got one funny memory too.
Yeah.
that
So I
remember
want to
from this
finish
one.
on a light note because
Let's
I know we
finish
need to
on some light
wrap
notes.
Yeah.
this up for this episode, and then we'll move on to the next chapter of 2017 and the next episode. Anyway, so funny. So once we were allowed to help, we did, peeled onions or we peeled something else one time, like maybe fruit or something. So we did kitchen stuff, and then we had cleaning, like
Potatoes?
cabins and
I don't know if we ever.
and
I don't remember.
bathrooms.
Some
So-
kind of stuff.
I think Nevena was by herself. We had cleaned all the guys out of their bathroom so we could clean it. And then Issy and I were in the women's bathroom, the girls' bathroom. And I was cleaning the toilets and she was cleaning the sinks. And I dropped the cap of the toilet bowl cleaner into the toilet. And I reached down and picked it up. Issy saw me, and she is a germaphobe.
Major
She
germaphobe.
is like strict on the promios stuff. Nothing against her. It's just how she is. She's a germaphobe and perfectionist and everything. And she freaked out. Like, she's like, you need to wash your hands 3 times. And she starts listing all the stuff. And I'm like, there was nothing in the toilet except water
you
and
just
cleaner.
cleaned it.
Yes, exactly.
Just
And
clean
so
this toilet. It's clean.
being the mischievous friend that I am, I tease her so bad. But anyway, I went
Like want to
and-
hold hands?
Yes, exactly. That's what I did. I started watching. She's like, "Don't you dare!" And she like ran outside. It was really funny. And then when we were mopping the floor,
Oh,
it was
man.
just stuff to get our minds off the tension of stuff we couldn't control. Because we couldn't
Yeah.
control what the camp leaders were doing, what the world race was, that confusion. Because the whole team was great. We met some great people.
Yes,
We still keep,
sure.
a few of them still keep up with us on Instagram, like Luis and
Luis
Miss
was
Candy.
awesome.
Probably Luis the most because he
Enjoyed
really enjoyed our
getting
music.
to know
Yeah,
Luis.
he's from California. Loved the music. He's a cool guy. And so when we were
Solid guy though.
after kind of settling in and just processing everything, I tried to make, especially with my family and friends, again going back to not wanting to let anyone down. So I will create something that will make them feel better, whether that's serving them or teasing them to death, just
How
to
sweet.
it gets my mind off of whatever's going on. So when we would mop the floors, I would throw dirty water all over her feet. Again, she's germaphobe, so she would freak out. It was funny. Anyway, and then also meeting Nevena, because Issy and Nevena knew each other, but this was our first time meeting Nevena. So
Yeah.
it was just really cool and a lot of fun memories serving them. And it really wrapped kids camp up well.
Yes.
So funny,
your funny
real
memory?
funny memory from kids camp. I remember this because the kids hated me that day for this. It wasn't not hated as in a bad way, but just like, okay, are we done with this yet? Anyway, okay. So one of the things in advanced group was more advanced rhythm rather than just strum.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were getting into more advanced like guitar-like strumming, right? And some of the kids weren't quite getting it. So the way I play rhythm guitar and the way Joshua plays rhythm guitar is that you keep your hand going in an up and down motion, but you only strum some of the strings some of the time.
Right.
That's what creates the different rhythms.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so we spent an entire hour just what I call distracted practice, which is we sat there doing that, talking about nonsense and just doing this with our wrists, trying to get that down, up, all that
And they'd
into your
probably
muscle
stop,
memory.
right? And then you
Some of them would stop and like, no, keep going.
going.
And we'd talk about different stuff, like
That's
what was
like
going on in their
family.
lives. And
Oh,
yeah.
really cool.
It was really cool, but the kids were like, "Are
They
we
prob-
done now?
Are we
Can we do
there
something
yet?
else?" I'm like, "No, until you understand this, we
That's
spent an entire class.
That's really funny.
Entire
Wow.
hour.
Any
It's
other?
funny.
Any other? Let's end a positive. Any other positive?
And then they would tell their friends about it. It was really.
Was Luka Lahotsky at this kids camp?
I think
Uh,
so.
I remember
I
2018 he was
think
at
he was-
teen.
I don't think he
was
moved
at
up to
Camp
teen
2018.
until 2018.
2018. So,
Okay,
yeah.
And in
so
fact-
it was at 2017. Okay, so one of the cool things, again, we had the finale night and all that good stuff, and that was, as usual, the most fun, and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, he got up. Look at
Oh.
this. He's,
Oh.
the guy is just, he's one of those you wouldn't think he was that funny
Until he is.
until he is. I mean, he got up and did impressions of all of the teachers.
I don't remember
different
mine.
stuff.
I don't
But
know,
he
but I
did-
remember
this was
moms.
But he
teachers.
did moms.
I remember moms.
It was hilarious.
I
I
don't
mean,
think
it
it was
made
funny.
mom's week.
I
No,
I
no,
mean,
no, I think
she
it was
was
just
the
teachers.
leaders,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
mom
It was
yeah.
just
Yeah.
the it was so funny. He
So
like
she
got
would
it
Mom
like
would
a
always
t-shirt
wear a cap
with a
during
ponytail.
camp and would like put her hair in a ponytail. Now, if you've ever seen me in a cap and ponytail, you know where I get it from. Anyway, but
He was like flipping
he
it
put on a
around
cap and
tucking
put
in.
like a rag in the back.
Oh yeah.
It was really
It
funny,
was so
and it made
funny.
Mom, because Mama was really having a difficult
Oh,
week,
sh-
and
oh, yeah.
we don't
Wow.
want to. We won't go into again because that's her story. So if you want some,
Ask
talk
her.
to her. But I just as a teacher and Mama Bear and just watching, she sees stuff that other people doesn't because the way
Well, and-
her brain is wired, she's very detail oriented, but at the same time spontaneous fun. So the two work together to create an amazing woman, which we
Yeah.
call our mom.
Aww.
Well, and being so far in the details, being all in, being an adult, and I mean, I know that I was 2017, so I was 21.
Yeah.
No, I was 20. I was about to turn 21. I was 20. Josh was 19.
Mm-hmm.
The girls were 17. So we were getting close to adulthood, but she was,
She
more
has many
exper-
years of
right.
experience.
She has the experience of being an adult. She
Emphasis on
sees.
many.
She saw the adult things. I mean, we were starting to notice a few things, but she saw everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about our mom. That's great, but can also overwhelm her. Is she sees
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Well, and the
And
great thing
so
is,
all that. It
and
was a
this,
difficult week
and
for
I
her.
know this may sound bad, but when something like that, with that difficult week and everything, we'll hear about it later.
That's funny.
And nothing bad.
No.
I'm glad that she is willing to share and be real and all that because
Yeah.
it helps us.
Anyway,
Yes,
you
dear.
got,
Abby, you
did
got
you
one
have
more?
something?
Well, I did want to mention like my favorite, and it's all coming back to me now. My favorite memories of kids camp though were surrounding me connecting.
Creek. It's like we're in the deck of a ship or something.
Like we have one request when
like,
we do
what
this
is this, Pirates of the
podcast: don't
Caribbean?
walk over the kitchen. Like,
Am I upset?
No,
I'm
I'm
not. Anyway,
I
Little,
bet
a
it's
little.
John Mark. That's what I think.
Sounds
That's
like they're
who I-
trying
that's
to be
my
quiet
vote.
and failing.
They're failing.
Go ahead.
Terribly.
Go ahead. What's your memory?
Okay, they probably don't.
And they're
even
getting
hear that.
ratted out on this podcast. How awesome is that?
Anyway,
They'll
my
hear about
favorite-
later.
They're open. What are they doing?
In my head, I'm going,
At
that's
the sink.
annoying.
The sink's right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
Okay,
Anyway.
I'm sorry,
Memory,
Share your
people.
memory, sweetie.
My favorite memories were with certain kids at the camp.
Right.
That,
Yes.
I connected more with the kids who knew more English because I didn't
course.
know Serbian. So if they could talk to me without a translator, that's who it was a good connection starter. And I remember one Sergey.
Yes.
Yes.
I think he's an only child or he's not very close to his
Well,
family.
he's
I don't
a
remember. He told me.
PK.
I didn't know that. He did not tell me that.
Yes.
But
I believe he's an only child, or if he is, there's a significant age gap.
it's just we connected like a brother-sister relationship.
Yeah.
It was really cool to talk. He knew English super well.
Oh, yeah.
He did
And
very well.
so it was fun to get to know him that year. And one of the bright spots of the kids' camp was I think he was in your group, Jacob.
Sergey, he was in 2018.
Okay. he
But
might have been in
2017
Josh.
was his first year, if I remember correctly. So he
Yes.
might have made it into Joshua's.
Anyway.
I don't remember. It's been
I
so
don't
long.
remember either.
But that was one camper. And then Angela.
Anji.
Anji.
Yes.
Was
Oh,
that her
Anji.
first year?
Yes.
Yes.
Because she was in my group. That's what I
Yes.
thought.
Yeah.
And so
That
I
was her first
connected
year.
with her.
Yeah.
She didn't know English as well, but she knew more English 2018.
She was my mini translator that year. She was so proud of
Yeah.
herself.
And that
She's
was the fun
adorable.
thing is
She is
when
so
we
cute.
met campers and connected with campers who didn't know English
Of course,
as
she's
well.
what, 17 now?
She is 7.
They would
Stop it.
be motivated to learn
Learn
English.
Right.
Yes.
So that they could talk to us and get to know us better. And you saw that a lot in Anji
Was
there was
one
one
of
other young
those.
lady, Milica, that we
Milica is
mentioned
another one.
Yes.
from last week in
Yeah.
2017
She
teen camp.
didn't know
She didn't know
English.
anything.
Any
And then she
English.
comes back the next
And
year,
she's
2018,
talking to
and
us
she's
and we're
talking like,
I don't remember you
Wow.
talking to us last year.
Oh, it's
So that was
fun.
really cool. And we
Anyway.
have,
Yeah.
if we remember any stories, I will go ahead and give you all a heads up. There will be a bonus episode once we finish everything all the way up to the present, finish 2017, 2018, and then get into where we are now with our ministry and stuff like that. There will be a bonus episode where we'll share some more stories that we may have remembered because we remember stuff as they come because
Yeah.
it's been a few years, like Abby has said.
So be ready. Stay
Be
tuned.
prepared.
take us out, Josh.
Yes, so we hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Let's B3D.
Let's B3D.
If you would like to subscribe, you
Do
just hit
so.
that button.
Thank you.
And if you would like to subscribe
Do so also.
on YouTube, hit that red button.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to learn more about us, check out our website at thefamilysowell.com.
It is
and
linked in
like
the
us.
description. You're welcome.
Like us on
Oh.
Facebook. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on TikTok. Shall I continue? No, I'm just
I think
kidding.
that's-
Anyway,
I love
we
that
hope
too.
that you
TikTok.
have enjoyed
That's
this
really
episode, and we definitely, we're always learning, and that's what we like to leave you with today. Is that we're always willing to learn and grow, and we hope that you are learning along with us. So we hope that you again enjoy this episode, and like I said, please subscribe, and if you want to support us,
Share
and-
with your friends.
yes, that
And
is
your
very
enemies,
helpful
too.
Anyway,
That's
we
a
love you
huge
guys.
help.
We hope that you
Yes.
have a blessed rest of your week. Were you gonna say something else, Abby?
I said
she's
yes. We
doing
love
that.
y'all.
Yes, exactly.
Hearts.
So hot.
Hearts.
We love you to
Hotties.
those
Sarangyo.
that are watching us visually.
Whatever
Anyway,
Naomi
we
said.
will.
Volimte.
Yes.
Volimte.
Yes.
Hey,
there
you
go.
remember. How about that?
How about that?
It's hard to forget that.
Volimte and Molimte.
And it's
Please,
Vinny
and I
Tay,
love
so
you.
There's a lot of te. Anyway.
Yes.
That'll be a story on the bonus episode.
Oh,
anyway, so we all.
laughed
Oh, Lord, I remember that.
All right, we need to stay
We will
focused.
save that. Stay focused. Anyway, we will see y'all in the next episode. Have a great rest of your week. And as always,
Peace, love, fam.
Fam.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions or standard of the family Sowell.
Have a lovely day.